What's up, guys? This is K Cola here,
and Austin,
and we are Who Hurt You. And today we are going to be talking about death and mourning a loss. And we are dedicating this episode to Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. We're so sad.
I ain't no idol, I'm a lighthouse, I set everybody free.
It actually is crazy to be saying that.
Yeah.
This one has hit the entire world. Even people who weren't really familiar with his music, they were familiar with his business mind, his philanthropy, just who he was as a person.
Yeah, he was just a good spirit, even though he did come from the streets and he was like still affiliated with a lot of stuff. He was still a good person. And,
he was an amazing person.
And had a great heart.
Great dad.
Yeah, and I think for me, even from what I got from it, like I'm still healing, trying to process it. So I can't even imagine the people close to him right now.
Yeah.
I mean, literally that day, I like the aura.
My Sunday was ruined.
It just changed.
Yeah.
It was.
I instantly got a migraine, like right here, and it didn't go away for like 2 or 3 days, no matter what I did. And I posted something on my Instagram and asked like if other empaths got migraines, and like I got hundreds of DMs of people.
My chakra's still off.
Who got migraines from that. So I kind of wanted to talk about death and mourning a loss, just because a lot of us sometimes don't know how to process when we lose someone, and it doesn't necessarily have to just be in death. It can be a breakup, it can be losing a friend, it could be losing a job.
Or losing yourself.
Losing yourself, yeah. And you know, I just think it's really important right now because a lot of us are hurting and we don't really know where to go or how to deal with this. And I think it's important also because of how he passed. Allegedly the killer was known to have mental illnesses. He was in and out of the hospital, dealing with a mental illness, and I feel like that's something that we don't talk about in our community. And a lot of the things that happen to us, I feel, can be prevented when we start to heal some of these things. You know, jealousy is
real.
It's crazy. And when you couple jealousy and envy with, you know, growing up in a certain lifestyle where you have PTSD and trauma, coupled with mental illness, it can turn into something as big as, you know, murdering someone, or like, I mean, this has just, this has turned into something huge. And that's why I just think it's really important for us to talk about mental illness and death and mourning a loss. And so one of the first things that I want to start out with talking about is death, because I feel like a lot of us, I mean, personally for me, I don't look at death as, I don't feel sad for the person that passed away, because I believe that our souls do go on to a better place. I do believe, you know, that Nipsey is somewhere amazing with our ancestors, and the people that I feel sorry for are his family, you know, his friends. He's not in pain anymore. We're still here trying to process everything. He was a mentor for me, and even though I didn't grow up with him, I just got to know him last year, and like I was looking forward to doing a lot of work with him in the community and things like that. So it just kind of like tripped me out, because I just had all these plans, you know, and
we can still do them though, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Still have to.
And definitely plan to. I plan to with all of you guys, you know, any of you guys following us. I would love for you guys to be involved in what he stood for. And I think it's really important that we carry on everything that he stood for. And that is, you know, financial freedom, not being boxed into how you grew up. You don't have to stay that way.
Very true.
Helping the youth in the community, buying up the block, you know, things like that. We could still carry on what he stood for. Another really important thing that I wanted to talk about is mourning, because a lot of us are trying to process this, and some of us are very angry.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about the stages of mourning. So the first stage of mourning is denial, which I think maybe we all kind of felt, right?
Yeah.
When we heard the news.
Do you recall, like, my first instinct when I saw it online, I was like, my jaw was dropped for like a good minute, and I didn't want to believe it. And the saddest part about it is when I started seeing the clips, I was like,
yeah.
And that was before they announced it, and I was like, I don't think it.
Yeah.
It was just.
I didn't think he. It's funny because my best friend texted me because Lauren had called his cousin, their friends, and I heard that he was shot. And the first thing I said was, "Oh, he's gonna be good." Like, I told one of my friends, I'm like, "What? He got shot? Oh, he's gonna be fine." And like maybe 5-10 minutes later, my friend called me like, "Lauren just called, like he's gone." And I was like, "No."
Oh, you got a phone call?
I was like, no. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I feel like a lot of people still don't believe that he's gone.
No.
So, it's that's typically the first step, whether you are, dealing with death or whether you are dealing with a breakup or any type of loss. It's just like your brain is trying to process this loss.
Yeah.
And then the next step from that is anger. And I feel like people are angry right now. They're angry at how he passed.
Yeah, they're angry at the person. Like, I kind of still want answers, even though they're giving it to us. I'm like, it's not enough.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll
enough.
ever be enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I wasn't really a fan of his, but I took this as a wonderful black man that's doing amazing things for the community and the culture has just been taken from us.
Yes.
So in my like reference to this would be like MLK's passing, because that's like, I literally had to take a second to myself and excuse myself from my situation that I was around, because I was like, I don't think anyone will get it. I was like, as a black man in America, this just shook me to my core.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like I'm a fan of his music. It was just,
you were a fan of him.
yes.
Yeah.
And what he stood for. And it's just like, it's even hard for me to talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
he was like he was our Pac. He was our Tupac. He was our Malcolm X. He was, all of these people wrapped into one. And I just think it was so dope how cool he was, like genuinely just straight up cool, but like intelligent, and everything about him was so natural. Like there's no, you could tell he is not a facade. Like everything was so real, So yeah, a lot of us are angry because we're like, how do this person get taken away from us, and so a lot of us have come up with conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
and
I was on that train for a minute.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people were.
Because you want to make, because the thing why I was so on it is like, he predicted his own death. He was like, when we releasing this documentary, if I mysteriously die,
he was like ride for me.
And that's what I was like, oh, like real talk, like on some deeper, like you can predict your death, like something's coming. You know you're touching such a not a horrible, but such a topic that literally it makes sense when you put it in that light. Like, okay, well, we're shedding light on a topic that was swept under the rug that's bigger than what this is. It's what you break it down, it's the pharmaceutical industry, and they don't want to lose out on money, so it makes sense. They're like, take it out. Yeah. So that's why I think for me it was so easy in the beginning to believe it, but when they put a face to it, but when they put a face to it, I kind of still have a feeling iffy about it, because it's like it just went down too fast, and then he was caught too fast. Does that make sense?
Well, he turned himself in. He went to a mental hospital. He went to a mental facility, and he had just gotten out of a mental facility. So he had gotten out, and then he caught up with them, and it happened. And so, I mean, this to touch on also another stage of grief, it's the bargaining, because I was playing through my mind, and the bargaining is typically when you're like, well, what if? Yeah. So like when you get in a relationship and you guys break up, it's like, well, what if I hadn't gone here? Or what if I hadn't said this? Or what if I hadn't done that?
What if I wouldn't have done that? Yeah.
I was thinking like, damn, what if Nip like just
stay home?
Because I was at Simply Wholesome, which is a local restaurant, grocery store, black owned, that's been around since I was a baby. And they told me he was at Simply Wholesome earlier that day.
Oh, God.
And I was just thinking to myself, damn, what if he had just stayed and like ate another patty? Or what if he had got like a smoothie and was just chilling there? Like, he wouldn't have seen dude. Or like, what if, you know, if one of his bodyguards would have, you know, just, there's so many thoughts that run through your head that's like trying to stop this from happening. And I don't know if you've ever seen like the Tupac movie or Selena movie.
Yeah.
Even though you know the ending.
Oh my God, I still get mad at it.
Yeah.
Woo! Don't even bring up Selena one
now. What if she didn't go back to the hotel by herself?
Oh, God.
What if Pac didn't get in a fight that night? Or they, like, even in the movie it showed like his girl was asking him to stay home. I don't know if that was true.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if Lauren had asked him to stay home and he was like, nah babe, I gotta, you just start like bargaining in your mind, and that's how you deal.
And then it scares you to not want to do anything, but we can't live in fear.
Yeah.
Because this is a prime example that this can happen anywhere. And I think the reason why a lot of us are really upset is because it literally happened at his place of business, in his backyard, in his home,
in our city,
in his community,
where everybody loves him.
Yes, and like the most disturbing part is the picture right before with the little baby.
Yeah, where he took a picture with the kid.
Oh God, so.
And it was just a testament to his character, because he loved being with our people, and he would take a picture with anybody. Just so cool, so humble, you know. So some of us are still in that stage of denial. Mm-hmm. Some people are angry. They've moved past the denial and moved on to anger. Some of us are bargaining. And the next stage is depression. And I think it's important to talk about this. You've dealt with depression before. You know, because it can start to lead you down a slippery slope. Do you want to talk about maybe some of your dealings with depression and how you pulled yourself?
I'm like depressed right now.
Yeah.
But like, no, yeah, well, I mean, like, it's different for everyone, first of all. Like, I don't ever want to, you know, tell someone to do a certain thing or try a certain thing, because it's different for everyone. But, yeah, like, if you're, you know, in that state where you're like, what's the point, you know? Like, if you, and then like, when it comes to things like this, like, I've never had to deal with losing someone like that, but I mean, if you're already in a place that might be bad and then something like this happens, then it's like, oh man, like, what else is there? Like,
and then also, I think you really touched on it. Everyone's different, so you have to understand that everyone's coping mechanisms are a little bit different, and even how people process the mourning situation. Because if I say you just present it, one person can hit either one of those, and it's not in any order. So like, it's just like, at the end of the day, I feel we just have to just start talking about it and just remembering him, and never letting us forget his legacy and what his real true mission was. So, but
as far as the depression goes, like, I had it really bad last year, and the top of this year. I was pregnant and I had postpartum depression. I literally once a week thought about suicide.
Okay.
And I have had to have friends like come just hug me and sit with me so that it doesn't happen, or you know, just so many situations where I'm like, damn, if I didn't have certain people in my life, but not everybody has access to that. So it's like, what do we say to those people who don't have people like that around, who may be thinking about something like that? Because I know when this hit me with Nip, I'm like, fuck, this world is so evil. Like, why are we even here? You know, and I know I'm not the only one feeling like that. So it's like, what, you know, for me, I have my kids. So I look at my kids and they inspire me to keep going and stay on this planet. And, you know, I also have people in my DMs who are encouraging me every day and telling me how, you know, my story has helped them. What do people who don't have kids, who may not have friends, who are in a dark room maybe watching this right now, it's like, what do you tell them to keep them going?
I think you have to fully absorb the situation at hand and really be able to process it, because you have to mourn before you're able to grieve. So you have to come to terms with it, in my opinion. And just like, because I remember I texted you, I was like, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to get through this? And just with that, it's like, talk to each other, share your sorrow. And But especially if it's like a loved one that passes, I strongly just recommend just trying to think of and talk about the positive things and the good things that they have done, or the good times you remember, to help kind of lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's okay to sulk, and it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to feel the pain, because you have to feel the pain in order to get through it.
And that's important. I think it's important to let people know, like, this will pass.
Yeah.
It is temporary, and even if it's been whether it's a few days, a few weeks, a few months, like, it will pass. You will not be stuck in this forever.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself, you know, because sometimes we get frustrated with the fact that we're still feeling the feeling, and we expect it to go away, and we're like, why is this still here? Why am I still feeling sad? Don't be so hard on yourself. Like, don't expect yourself to get over something fast, because you know, sometimes we brush over things. We don't take the time to really feel all the feelings, and then they'll come back later. We'll think we're over something, and it'll come back later, and it may come back stronger.
Yeah. And you said a good thing too. You said fast.
Yeah.
You don't have to heal fast.
Yeah.
You don't have to grieve. You don't have to mourn fast.
Yeah.
It's on your time. So even with that being said, if it takes you a little bit longer than others to get through something, that's okay. But you have to understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Just don't, it's okay to fall down and get in a dark state and want to just like run away from everything, but you can't just stay there and be like that.
I agree. I think there is a time to just be in bed and close the windows and turn off your phone.
That's what I did on Tuesday. I literally came up, because I touched down, like literally when I touched down on Monday, when my plane dropped, the air felt different in LA. And I was just
my God, the energy
being
out
around,
here,
everybody was just so sad,
crazy.
even including me. Like, I'm telling you, my chakra is still off.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, we have to keep going because it's April 1st and bills are due. However, like, the moment that I was like done with the day, I was like, I think I need time alone to process everything that's going on in my life. Yeah. Because another thing that death really does put into perspective for a lot of people, and especially for me, it makes me start looking at my life and what am I doing and what am I not doing. Yeah. And because it could be taken from you at any moment. So for me, what was a good coping thing for me was I just decompressed from the entire world. Close my blinds, put on my humidifier, my essential oils, just really
Essential oils are key. They can help change your mood.
Use my essential oils. Just chilled in bed.
Put your phone down.
Put my phone down.
Every time I would get on Instagram, I was just
oh God, it's
like, it was like so sad, because that was the thing that really jumped out to me, because like I wasn't like a huge Nipsey Hussle fan. Like I heard his music and it was good, but I didn't like follow him. But when I saw how many people were coming out, like sharing their stories with him and the way he impacted their life, I was just it was like a testament to who he was as a person. So you could remember in that way and be like, it's a bittersweet thing, because obviously he just passed, but you're like, wow, he really affected people. But then I had to just put I was like, I can't get on Instagram, because I just keep scrolling. I'm just like, God, man, it's so sad. Like,
that's a good one. Unfollow some people. You may have to unfollow some people on social media if you find yourself in a depressed state and you're following pages that are either bullying other people or constantly posting, you know, negative things, or things that can trigger you, because sometimes it's not negative things that can trigger you. It could be, I remember when I first had my breakup, when I would see those like love pages, that shit would trigger me, you know? So you know what triggers you, so you may have to unfollow, you may have to stop talking to a few people for a little bit, you know, you may have to block some people for a little bit, and
that's a good point.
They may take it personal, but if you're depression, you're fighting for your life, so you can't be worried about what other people think right then and there, you know? So yeah, for sure, social media. I could see how that.
I literally unfollowed a couple pages too, like they were like meme pages or something, but you know, everyone starts like hopping on it. But like people were trying to post that video of Lauren like going to the hospital. I'm like, I don't want to see that.
No,
like,
you know,
leave them, let her grieve. I don't want to see this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I had to get off Facebook because people were pissing me off, and I think it's a culture thing versus a non-culture thing, because the people who are not within the culture were making fun of it, and they were like, cheese nips. Someone literally wrote, Nipsey Hussle died today. I thought he was already dead. I was like,
Is that me? Was that a meme?
It was no. It was like it was someone I know and follow on Facebook that wrote this, and I was
and I don't understand shit like that.
Like, I don't get it.
I don't get stuff like that.
I was like, I have to get off Facebook. I have to because I was like, I'm gonna cuss somebody out in the wrong way, and they're gonna look at me as an angry black man. But at the end of the day, I feel like this really shook a lot of people to its core because this was, I feel like, was a direct attack on us in our future moving forward.
I just feel like it's wild that people can make a joke out of death.
It's disgusting.
And that is part of the reason why people like us get depressed, because it's like, what in the fuck type of human are you? Like, I'm a human, so I feel when people die. I feel when people are in pain. I don't think that shit is funny.
Or we're told it's not that big of a deal, you don't know them.
Yes, and that pisses me off too. Like, you don't have to know somebody to feel.
Thank you.
I mean, that's what being an empath is. You literally feel the pain of the world.
Exactly.
You know? But, like, for people to joke, I know a lot of people, I had left a comment right when he passed, like, no, please don't let this be true. And people were literally, I got hundreds of comments of people, like, some of them were like, oh, buy this verification
Girl,
badge.
oh my God.
And I'm just like, this is
not
not okay.
This is not the time and place for you to be trying to get a plug.
It really makes me wonder, like, what the fuck is wrong with us as humans? Like, are we that trash? Like, what is happening?
Well, I mean, and it's like, it sucks because people like that are trash.
Yeah.
But also, to be in that state, you probably have so much trauma. You have so many things. Like, you might not even understand why you're acting so trash. Like,
yeah.
Or that could be their form of coping too.
Right.
But it's not. But that's not okay.
It's not
I don't think
okay.
that's
No,
an
it's not
okay
okay
form
at
of
all.
coping, but
I'm
it
just
can be a
like,
way of
man,
coping.
like, wow.
Because, but I honestly don't. I'm an adult. I don't find joy in the demise of someone else. Like, you've seen those, like, where people make those prank videos where they're like they're making fun of, like, they're like acting like a terrorist and like throwing bombs and stuff and making people scared of a specific type of person because, oh, it's funny, it's a prank. No, that's not funny. We're adults.
Yeah.
You're literally
whether you're an
people.
adult or a child, we're humans, and the demise of other people should not be funny to you.
And if you can laugh at things like that, then you need to get punched in the throat. But oh my God, I can't.
Yeah. So, okay, so moving on to another stage of grief is acceptance. I don't think any of us are there yet.
Yeah. It's still tough. I'm trying, sis, I'm trying.
Yeah, no, I mean, okay, so talking about mourning a loss, like, it could just be in friendships or in, breakups. I think the acceptance stage is extremely important because the denial stage, all the other stages are extremely toxic to us as individuals. The denial stage can keep you in the depression stage, right? Because you may have hope in something that is going to return that's not meant to return, like a friend or an ex.
I've been there.
The bargaining stage and the anger stage, I mean, anger is a poison. It literally only poisons the person that's angry, right? And then the bargaining stage can leave you in the denial stage because you may start blaming yourself for something that has nothing to do with you, and there are certain things that you just can't change. So trying to do the what ifs and, well, maybe if I that's not going to bring somebody back, So acceptance can be a more peaceful way of coping with something because that allows you to move forward.
Yes.
Well, acceptance ultimately too is like it doesn't mean that, like, I mean, I can't speak on my own experience because I've never lost anyone like close like that, but you're always going to have pain, right? There's always going to be that pain, but acceptance is saying, like, even though there was that death or that loss, like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I need to, like, still live. I need to care about me,
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't mean that the pain goes away or that you don't even grieve in some ways. But just being able to actually move forward and say, hey, I still have to live my life and I still have to be the best me I can be. And
we also have to remember you have to categorize it because acceptance comes in 3 forms of, like, physical, mental, and emotional. So it's like, all of these situations are happening and we have to, at the end of the day, reach out to each other, talk to each other, hug your loved ones, tell people who you love that they matter. I've been telling so many people that I truly do appreciate them, I appreciate them just because. Yeah. Because you never know when you have the last moment with someone. Yeah. So you really just have to, I think this one, like the Kim Porter one was hard for me.
Oh,
that one was hard for me. That one was really hard for me.
Yeah, that was
like
tough.
I literally had to pull over, collect myself, but this one affected me in a completely different way because of the way it went down.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just not right. And at the end of the day, with this entire situation, I just think that we can't just forget him. Yeah. So we have to finally start allowing ourselves to process what happened so we can start moving towards the future of what's going to happen with him.
I love what you said about telling people you love them. Mm-hmm. Because one of the things that happens in death and mourning is sometimes we get so closed off and depressed that the people we love around us, they don't get access to us anymore. We're not loving on them while we can because we're so stuck on the sadness of ourselves. And so sometimes it's important to move to that acceptance stage so that we can cherish the people who are right here. Because it's like, what if you're mourning over this and then, your brother dies and you could have spent time with your brother, but you're so busy closed off and depressed that you missed out on, talking to your brother or your friend or your mom or your whoever it is that you love, So I think it's really important to take that into consideration while we're going through these different stages. The guilt, the sadness, things like that. I think a lot of people have said things like, LA should be ashamed of itself and, just wanted, people have said that. And wanting us because he died here and things like that. A lot of people are sad, but it's like it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be depressed, it's okay to be angry, but still love on the people who are here. Because you don't know, and I think Nipsey just recently lost one of his friends, but you still saw him loving on his kids, loving on his girl, loving on the community and things like that. So I just think that's just a testament to the strength of his character, because even while he was going through pain, he still was helping everyone around him and loving on everybody around him and still being solid.
Yeah, because I also think that when you are doing things from a genuine place and you're showing your love, it's like a domino effect. So when you smile and you give someone a hug, it kind of you can't help but to smile and want to hug each other back. And I think that now this is the best time for us to really just start hugging each other and just really coming together as one. Yeah. And just putting the bullshit aside. Like if you have beef, like you said, if you have issues, just let them go and just let's work on resolutions. And because he was taken too soon and we are still here.
Yeah, we're still here. We are still here.
Time.
You are still here, and it's important that you stay here. Don't get caught up in what you're feeling right now. You're still important. You can still be of service on this earth, so.
Yeah, because who got backlash? Wasn't Kodak Black got backlash because he was like, oh, I'm not going to the hood now? Because he was supposed to go to the hood that day. About that. He was supposed to go to the hood that day, but then when Nipsey happened, he was on Instagram Live, he was like, oh, I'm not going to the PJs today. I'm good. Type of situation.
I could see how that could be insensitive.
Yeah.
But again, we can't stop living our lives.
Exactly. Because the first thing I said before I found out about the end result was we have to stop this black on black crime.
Yeah.
Type situation.
Absolutely.
That was the first thing that I was so upset about. It's like, why are we still killing each other? This needs to stop. Yeah. We need to do something about this. But it's just I kind of feel like it's what do we do?
Well, for one, we start healing, because I feel like a lot of the hate and jealousy that we experience comes from inadequacy that was passed down from our ancestors, our parents. They say the government killed him, right? There's this conspiracy. I agree, the government did kill him, not necessarily by shooting him or hiring a shooter. The government killed him by failing our communities.
Ooh,
because the government breed and birthed this young man, I say that for lack of a better word. The government breeded this killer by, putting drugs on our block, by putting black men against each other, by giving us the guns, putting the guns in our community.
Making us all think that we can't, unite.
That we can't get money together. That we can't.
Competition.
Yeah, that we have to be crabs in a barrel. That we have to step over each other or kill each other to get where we want to be, and that's just not the truth. We can every other group does it. Every other race is able to get money together. They're able to pass down wealth, yes, knowledge. You know, it's like when we get knowledge, what do? We hoard it. We feel like, oh, if I tell you something, then you're gonna have a one up on me. No, fuck that. Yeah. Like, you tell your brother something, like you don't have to. There doesn't have to be a lack from someone else for you to be able to flourish. Everybody can flourish because the universe is abundant, and there's an abundant supply. You know, and when you're hoarding stuff like that, no good is ever going to come to you. So I just feel like it's important that we talk about, yes, the government did fuck us, but we don't have to stay there.
Yes.
Just like we talked about with the parents, like your parents may have fucked you over, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. Like, you can grow and you can get better. And so we can learn from this. We can learn from, you know, the jealousy and envy. You may have some jealousy in you right now. You can change that. You don't have to stay jealous of your brother or sister. Like, work with that person, you know?
Or work on yourself first.
Yeah.
I think this was a big situation that we have to really look at home first, like home base.
Yeah. And
really start working for plausible solutions to really solve this, because the fact, like, I can't get over the fact that he was just taken. Yeah. In his own community, in his own place of business, because it's like no one's safe where you're not even safe in your own home. Yeah. So it's like
with your own people.
Exactly.
With your own people. Our people have to worry about everybody on the outside and our own people, and it's sad. But now that we know, it's like, okay, we've talked about it. We know, guys. We know there's black on black crime. We know the police don't fuck with us. We know the government doesn't fuck with us. We know there are racist white people. There are also people who are not racist. Now, what do you do with that knowledge? Do you want to just sit around and talk about it and make memes and post comments on the internet all day? Or do you want to fucking make a change? Like, that's up to you to do the action, you know? And so I think that he didn't die in vain, because
no, he did not die in vain.
It starts this conversation, you know.
Well, and he was literally living out all those things you just talked about. Yeah. Like, he was doing that. So like it kind of just brings more light to people who maybe didn't know, you know. Or like, I know, I mean, I'm white, right? So I can't like speak to that straight. What
not you're white.
No, but like I also hate though when like my friend, he lives on like the west side of Chicago, and the thing that we would talk about a lot is like, because you know the south side and west side, like
I want to go to Chicago just to see it.
Well, yeah, but you know, like in the media and stuff, people always be like, yeah, fucking Chicago, people getting killed, and he was like, they never talk about like, he's like, I literally live in a community where every weekend we're having marches, every weekend we're having like the people of color in the community, you know, like and so but it never gets covered, and it's always like But I guess I was saying all of that to say like like when you talk about black on black crime or whatever, it's like, well, first of all, you know,
there's white on white crime.
Well, crime is like in the vicinity of where you are, and we're a segregated nation. Yeah. But anyways, but yeah, like it just, I hate when like the media starts trying to be like, oh, well, here's another example of that. But you know, to like be able to speak to it and like and just encourage people to like you were just talking about, like have those conversations at home first and things like that.
And I think that's what the beauty of this is, because even though, rest in peace, Nipsey, that his life did end too soon, I think that this is a topic and a situation that no one can bypass. Yeah. And that we have been trying to tiptoe around a lot of things, and now it's confronted. It's right in our face. We can't do it anymore. So now we have to band together, and we need to start thinking of positive solutions to be able to stop this. Because I don't think I can process another one of these type of situation. Like, and
unfortunately, I know we're gonna have to. This is not gonna be the last one, but like you were saying with the media, right? Like, the media will talk about black on black crime to be like, see, I told you guys, these niggas can't get it together. Right. But we can talk about it in a whole nother way. Like, we don't that doesn't have to be the narrative for us. So, you know. Also,
I was gonna say, I went on that whole tangent, but what I was trying to say through that was like, people that didn't know about Nipsey now know about Nipsey, right? And they know about what he did and what he lived for, and that is also just giving more light to having that conversation if you didn't understand or weren't educated.
And I love the fact that he owns all his masters. I had no idea.
Yeah, he owns all his masters, so all of that money, like the streams of his music went up. I think they said like something crazy, like 3,000%. Yeah, and that's dope because that's gonna go to his family, who's gonna carry on his legacy. That's gonna go back to the community.
Speaking of which, don't you have to do your announcement?
Yes. So, guys, I wanted to read to you some of the. So I did a post on Instagram, asking you guys how Nipsey affected your life. I'm gonna send you guys some merch. So I'm gonna read the names of the winners, and I'm gonna also read 3 of my top favorite stories. So the winners are Alexis_G_H_. Yay. Magwa, MAGWAA, at Hantaravello.
Man, reading usernames is always fun.
We're gonna put this down below.
Yeah,
too.
Put it down below.
Contact you.
We'll tag them too.
Yeah, we'll tag you at L's Mama and Crown of Curls and Infamous William. So, okay, I'm gonna start with Infamous William. Your message said, "Hustle and motivation. He got me through some of the most struggling growth situations I've ever been in. I dropped out of college to move and make clearer decisions. It's unreal and straight devastating to feel he's gone. I listened to his music, Crenshaw, and listened to all the hurt and suffering he put in his lyrics. Music was a tool merely to help his bigger goal. I'm sad and will continue to motivate." This person actually said they don't want any of the shirts or anything. They just want justice for a man that came from the mud and worked so hard for his family. But I'm going to still send you a shirt.
You get a shirt, boo.
Yes, because I love that message. Another one was from Magwa. His death hit me really hard. I resonated with what you said last night. His last album has gotten me through some of the toughest days of my life last summer. I went through such a miserable depression, but I'm now in therapy and progressing every day. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
His music motivates me to get off my ass. Yes,
Can we give a clap for that? I like her. Clap, clap.
And keep it moving in every aspect of my life. I would literally binge watch his interviews. Me too. With my partner, who reminds me so much of him. He announced the Dr. Sebi documentary a year ago, and from that moment, I knew it was only a matter of time. I hope that they wouldn't take him also, but now they did. Okay, we now know that they didn't take him. I was looking forward to seeing you work with him as well, because I know and feel how genuine you are. Sharing your light and wisdom has gotten me through a lot too, and I can only imagine what you both would have accomplished. Thank you.
That was really sweet.
Okay, and the last one, Alexis, you actually won this shirt for your friend because you wrote this about your friend. You said you wanted to speak on how Nipsey impacted your best friend so much. So you said his life hasn't been easy. Nipsey's music helped keep him motivated to get his GED at the age of 24.
Okay.
Nipsey is the reason he wears 4 braids in his hair.
Aww.
For the longest, he wanted to visit the Marathon store in Crenshaw, but financially he can't afford it. She said, "This post isn't about me, it's about my friend and how much Nipsey meant to him. We lost a positive black man, and Amir, who is her friend, is an important black man in my life who deserves the world, but the world has been cruel to him." Well, girl, we are going to help your friend out today, and we're going to send him some clothing from the Marathon store. Thank you for writing in for your friend, and thank you. Yeah, thank you to everybody who DM'd me all those wonderful stories. I got hundreds of stories about how Nipsey impacted your life, and it was so dope to read them because it just
it helped a little bit, right?
Yeah, and it just shows you people can be gone, but they're not gone.
Yeah, because he'll never that's what I'm saying. He'll never be really gone, even though he's physically not here.
Yeah.
But I feel even on Slauson, his spirit,
his energy,
remain there
forever.
no matter what, and especially through his music and through Nick Cannon finishing the documentary.
Yeah.
And through everything going through everything.
His interviews. He has so many dope ass interviews that you guys should all go watch.
I started looking stuff up, getting damn, why have I been not sleeping on him for so long?
I don't know. I don't know why y'all slept on the man.
But the beautiful thing about that is now you know, and now you can, now the information's here, now what do we do with it? We can use it to move forward, so.
I think he had like 3 million followers when before the passing, and now he has like 6 million followers. It's just crazy how many people, like, when something tragic happens, how many people start to pay attention. And
that's why I would say, tell people if you love someone or you're thinking about them, let them know there in that moment
before they go,
because you never know.
But he knew he was loved.
Yeah,
he knew he was
loved.
But
as far as like if it's other situations that are outside of this, if you're thinking about someone or you love someone, don't be afraid to let them know. Even if you think that they're busy or any of that, just a simple text message, simple phone call. Just I don't want us to continue to keep mourning people and talking about things after the fact.
Right.
Let's
let them know now.
Let people know now.
Let people know now. Support people now. Buy their music while they're alive. Tell them that their music is dope. You know, or unless it's not, then let them know it's not. But help them. Give them constructive criticism.
Yes, constructive criticism.
Yeah. And also, if you're having a hard time with this, do not be afraid to reach out for help, whether it's professional or with a friend. If you don't have a friend, make it a point to get professional help. Don't just overlook it. Like, you know, we'll spend money on t-shirts and different other things, but we'll be like, oh, I don't want to spend money on a therapist. But like, what's more important than your life, than your mental health, your brain?
Yes. And also a good play on that too is don't offer false hope. So don't say this happened for a reason, or don't say like they're in a better place. Stop all that, because there's no right reason. There's none of that. But what we can do is offer helpful solutions. So
I still think he's in a better place, because it gotta be better than this shithole. Okay.
No, but when I say like, what I mean by that is not saying like, oh, they're in a much better place, but like as a go-to, like offer steps of help for healing, like offer the like cliches. Like be there, support people that are going through grief and like are going through situations. Like if someone's a single mother, offer to babysit.
Yes.
Offer to cook.
Yes.
Offer to run errands. Offer to just sit in the room. Offer to sit in the room and cry with somebody.
Yeah, just hold somebody. You don't even have to talk to them. You don't have to say anything. Just being there will be helpful. You know, whether it's in a death or a breakup or losing a friend or a job, whatever it is, like, don't rush people because people will be like, you're strong, you'll get through it. Like, don't rush people through that. Don't expect everybody to be so strong. Why do we have to always be so strong? Like,
one of my homegirls is like, I'm tired of being strong.
I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of being strong too. Sometimes it's okay to be, you know, I don't think it's weak. I think vulnerability is actually strength.
It's beautiful too.
Yeah. So
when someone's vulnerable around you, it really shows you the true character.
Yeah.
And it's up to you what you do with that. Like, because if someone shows me their true vulnerability, that allows me to show them mine. So, and you never want to kick anyone when they're down. So just offer constructive criticism, like you said, and
just be there.
Or just be there, be present.
You don't even have to say anything sometimes.
Just love the humanity in other humans.
Yeah. And check on your strong friends, especially.
Yeah.
Check in on people, just because.
So thank you, Nipsey. We know you hear us because your energy is infinite and it does not die. Energy does not die. It's just exchanged and transferred into something else. So he's out here somewhere in another dimension, just smiling down, having a ball, and we're all crying and sad over him on this planet. But no, thank you, Nipsey, for all that you have taught us, and for your inspiration, and for your motivation, and for your music. And thank you guys for listening and sharing your stories with us. And we love you. And we hope you heal.